Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. It's an absolutely beautiful morning here this morning. The sun is shining, the chickens are clucking, the other birds that aren't chickens are having a good time. It's going to be a great day. I think it's going to be a great day anyways. Fingers crossed. I do have to shut the water off to the garden. I think I left it on last night, so it's probably flooded. Oh well, fuel for the pumpkins, hey? Look at this. No, it's turned off. I don't know what happened there. Either I shut it off last night and forgot, or the wife slipped out at midnight and realized that I forgot, ran outside and did it. Nevertheless, I do need to move it. So I put water on a third of the garden. The garden, we water in thirds, just because I can only supply so much water pressure to run 2 sprinklers at a time. So I have 2 set up in parallel, but I just ran the first third last night, intending to be for the first couple. Hey, look, there's some geese. Can you see it? Honk honk. Pretty cool to see them. We got the lake just to the south of the farm there, right? So there's tons of bird activity. Anyways, yes, watering the garden. I'm actually pretty impressed how much stuff has come up. Let's have a look. You see these peas are just going to town. And when I planted them, my ability to understand what my wife was articulating to me seemed to be hampered, or perhaps even a little handicapped. She said, I want 2 rows beside 2 rows. So I just said 2 and 2 is 4, and I just planted 4 rows. And what she really wanted was 2 rows and then a gap and then 2 more rows. So you kind of get in between and harvest your peas, but we're gonna have to put one fence down the middle of these 4 rows now and try and braid them over and up into the fence so they can kind of grow up. But anyways, that's that. The carrots, you can see where the carrots have been planted, but they're not coming up yet. There's some grass that's coming up, which I'm gonna have to get on top of. But what's real exciting is in here. Pumpkins, more pumpkins. There's going to be about 150 pumpkins come up in here, and it's going to be really, really crowded. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a bit more focus on square foot gardening as opposed to row gardening on this half of the garden. So it's going to be fairly condensed. We're going to see how much food we can grow in this amount of space here, and hopefully I can get on top of that grass and dandelion and whatever else clover we have growing in here. As you can see, our onions are coming up just amazing. Really excited about that, even though I'm not particularly fond of onions. If you dice them up fine enough, they do add some nice flavor. I don't know, something about the texture and the consistency when you mix it with the flavor, it just doesn't sit right for me. Folks would call me a picky eater. I would just say no, I have a very well-defined palate. Something that I'm most excited about, though, you can see how prolific the weed growth is in here already, and this was fast. And I'm gonna have to get in here and just dedicate the hours. But aside from the weeds, if you know, you know. Yes, the potatoes are up, and they're out of the ground, and they're looking awesome. So we will not starve this winter. All right, so I'm back here now, got the water going, and like I said last night, I watered the other side. This morning I'm watering this side. This is actually the best time of day to water the garden, specifically because of temperature, right? If I water for a couple hours starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, the plant actually has time to dry slowly. The soil has time to soak up the moisture. Whereas if I come by here 11:30 in the morning and the sun's way up high in the sky and it's pounding down heat, it's already pre-warmed the soil. What's going to happen when that water hits it is a lot of that moisture is just going to get flashed off. It's going to evaporate. The stuff that hits and stays on the leaves could inadvertently cause, just like sunburn really, to your plant leaves. So earlier in the day is better. Second best option is in the evening, because again, it's cooler. You're not going to burn your plants. But what you want to be cautious with there, because it is cooler, it's higher humidity in the evening. If you're watering for extended periods of time, you could end up with, you know, excessive fungal growth and maybe a little bit of plant rot. So like I said, I did leave the water on there last night. I'm not sure if I turned it off or the wife turned it off, but that's just because, you know, that's what time we have available to us. It's not really by, you know, a conscientious choice that this is the best time of day to water. This is the best time of day to water, but if you got a couple hours in the evening and that's all you got, sometimes that's when you just got to pound the water to it. So I'm just gonna go feed the chickens here, just at the grain shed. Got my buckets already filled. Typically I'll fill the buckets at night just because it's just less mess for me in the morning before I got to head off to work. We just had the grain bin filled here. You can see that there. Yeah, the grain bin filled the other night. Robin from Bloom Family Farm stopped by to drop off some cigars, and he brought the bag of grain at the same time, which is awesome. And I think he wanted to see how I unload the grain into here because we don't have an auger. So what we have is a big tractor and a big pallet and a chute in the side of the grain shed. So I'll throw a clip in here and you can see exactly how we do this. I've done a couple of YouTube videos on it, but just for if you're new to the channel or whatever, I'll just throw it in here. I won't make you go search for it. If you can hear the dogs that were just barking there, but in the background you can hear the yipping of a fox or a little coyote or something. So the dogs are on high alert right now. And I tell you, those boys, they earn every pound of their feed. They absolutely do, because we've never had, in my recollection, we've never lost an animal to a coyote or a fox. But Ben, on numerous occasions, has brought home coyote legs, paws, things like that. So, I mean, he sings for his supper. Anyways, as I mentioned, Robin brought me that bag of grain. He also brought over a couple boxes of cigars. And that's not just a nice gesture. We actually have well, he has his own YouTube channel called Millionaire Farmer, which if you have some time, I highly recommend you go check it out. Awesome channel. Tells you all about grain production. And together we have a joint channel called Smoke and Oak. And so this Saturday we're going to do a live episode in the gentleman's study here on the farm, and we're going to be talking about pink and blue jobs. You know, what's defined in terms of gender roles on the farm or maybe in society. It's going to be a great episode, so we'd love to see you there. So look up that channel, and then maybe you could join us for a cigar and a glass of whiskey, something nice like that, and we'll have some good conversation. I'm just over here now with our rams. This is the little paddocks we have behind the shop. The rams will either spend the majority of the summer here, or I might put them down in a square paddock I got down kind of in the center of the farm. Will just depend what the grass growth and the weather and everything does. But I had a guy ask me, I don't know if it was really a question or more of a statement really, but just a conversation about how much feed that sheep waste. And having tried many different types of feeders, and sheep still manage to waste it. So last fall I built 2 of these V feeders just out of old IBC totes, and I actually cut the bottom of the tote out and made like a tray that sits in the bottom. And I will say, you know, it didn't eliminate waste, but it reduced the waste. So because what falls through sits in the tray, then I can dump some grain in there and they'll quite happily lick it up. But as you can see from what's on the ground, I mean, there's still a lot, right? And sheep will waste like 20 to 25% of the hay they eat. I don't know, they're just spiteful little creatures. But anyways, that's what worked for us. Fork feeding into a V feeder like this, obviously much more efficient than just throwing them around bale and saying go to town. But without further ado, I better make my way to town and go to work. So if I don't see you tomorrow, hopefully you're able to tune in, like I said, this Saturday to Smoke and Oak and join us for the live stream there. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.